Hello, how are you?
Oh,
I always feel silly starting these streams by asking how people are. I feel like this might just be a legacy of like being used to like going up on stage and like asking crowds how they're doing. Uh, Arlemi, how are you doing?
I am good, but
Oh, no, I can't hear you. What is going on with my
what?
sound? Can you hear me okay? Can I get a thumbs up?
I can give you two thumbs up.
Say something for me.
Hello?
All right. You know what?
Oh,
This is my fault. I've got a little dongle
a
on my
mixer
microphone.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little wheel thing, and in the excitement of watching that new intro video, I must have muted it. So
It's a very party video. I was just dancing in the backstage.
yeah, we're definitely having a really great start to this stream today. So Arlemi, it's great to have you here. I'm so excited to have you on stream with me. We're going to be talking about Postman today, which I think is going to be a little bit of fun. I'm a huge fan of Postman.
Me too.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I hope you're a fan. But yeah, before we dive into things, I have some stuff to shout out really quickly, and I want to give you a spot to shout out some things. But I want to say welcome to everyone in the audience today. Just as always, we do read the comments pretty aggressively, and so we love to shout people out. So let us know if you're in there. Feel free to say hi. We're mostly paying attention to the comments on Twitch, so welcome wherever you are. The Twitch is usually where the best place to chat with us is, though. But wherever you're watching, we're glad to have you. Let me go through my stuff really quickly. I'm Shai. I'm part of the developer relations team here at Contentful, and this is our session on. That makes it sound like a webinar. That's way less fun. It's a live stream. We have fun on these streams. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Postman. Arlemi is going to be teaching me about how to use Postman to do stuff with GraphQL, which I haven't done before. I've done those two things separately, but I haven't used Postman and GraphQL today. So I'm really excited to check it out and to learn, which will be a lot of fun as well. And then on Thursday, we're gonna be back on the Postman stream, and we're gonna be talking about visualizers from inside Postman, which I think should be really interesting too. I don't need to write any front end code or deploy it to servers. I can just run it straight inside the Postman client, which would be great. Yeah, let me jump into my notes. We've got a couple things that we want to plug. As always, we do abide by a code of conduct in these streams, and so that extends to the folks in the chat and to us on stream. TLDRs, harassment and abuse, are never tolerated. If someone is doing something, if someone tells you something you're doing is making them feel uncomfortable, that's enough of a reason to stop. If you need any help or if you need to report anything, our full list of moderators are in our code of conduct documentation. And that doc, you can either go to that link or you can just head over to the Contentful developer docs and just search for code of conduct, and you should get it. Our developer portal is the place to go to learn things about Contentful, to pay attention to the upcoming streams, to see our latest articles and tutorials. And so definitely go check that out. That's contentful.com/developers. It also has a link to our Slack. If you don't feel like typing contentful.com/Slack, you can just go there and click on the Slack button as well. It's where we answer questions and are available if you need any help, or if you want to share what you've built, or like, hey Shai, I want to be on stream. I've built a really cool thing. Let me see what's going on. Just join us in the Slack, and we'd be happy to plug you here. We have that GraphQL course as well, and if you built something using that GraphQL course or GraphQL as well, we'll hook you up with some swag too. So that's it from me. Besides, the one last thing I want to plug is that we have our community hangout, and that is tomorrow. So it'll be. We have two of them. There's one for Europe and one for North America, and I'll pull up the website for that near the end of the stream. But you can also just see them at the developer portal if you want the specific times, or we'll toss them in the chat. That actually makes a lot more sense. So you can click them, and that is it for me. I see we've got a few people trickling in. Hi, Irish Beats. It's good to have you back. And Arlemi, I've got a slide for you as well if you wanna chat.
Yeah, I did. I wish I had as many links to talk about, but no, I only have two. One
I
is
gave you the excuse. You could have plugged whatever you want.
the other one is my company. First one is me. If you have any Postman related question before, after the stream, during the stream, I don't think I'll be able to answer them. But you can reach out to me, but also to our GitHub. So if you look for Postman Labs on GitHub, you'll find the issues where we track all feature requests, bugs, etc. And then mostly Postman.com. We'll use the web version during the stream, or we'll try. and it's been released like for a couple of months now, and basically Postman is available on the web. So if you go to postman.com, you see a big sign in or launch Postman button if you're already signed in. So I'd recommend doing that. Or if you just want to learn about what Postman does, which is also something that I'm really into, because a lot of people don't know what Postman can do. So highly recommend just going to postman.com.
I am really excited to explore the web version of Postman because I am a desktop user through and through for Postman, and largely I'm unauthenticated as a user, and so most of my commands and queries get lost as I switch machines, and so I've logged into Postman for once, and so I do have some stuff in there which is new to me, and so
you're part of, if you are a desktop user, you're already part of like most up-to-date users, because we still have people using the Chrome extension, and that's the one that when I talk to, I'm like, oof, you are well behind.
There's a web version. Irish Beats is asking. There was a web version. Yeah, it's brand new. Version. It's new to me as well. So postman.com. You just hit. Well, for me, I'm already signed in, so I just click launch Postman. But yeah, there's a web version. Why don't you tell me actually a little bit? So for the folks that are joining us and might not have heard of Postman, what is Postman? Why would someone want to use the Postman tool?
So there's plenty of reason to use Postman nowadays. It was born as a API testing tool. So ideally it was just a box. You put a URL, you kind of give like which type of request you do get, post, add parameters, and it would just send some results, so you would see what happens. But now it grows, and it grew as an API development platform, or just an API platform in general, where you can author your APIs on it. So you can write your API spec, you can generate like all these things that you just scroll through. So documentation for your API, monitors, API testing, API integration, etc. So why would you use it? Whether you're doing API first or you're doing API a bit later in your development, you may want to use it just to see if everything works fine, or if you're trying to integrate with a service and you don't want to write code for every single like test, you just go in Postman, put your request, see what happens, and then you can integrate, and you can even generate the code directly from Postman instead of you having to write it afterwards.
That's awesome. I'm seeing this COVID API response center, and I want to take a quick look at this. Yeah. So something I was doing was I've been paying attention to the vaccine stats in New York, where I live, and I have for the folks that have tuned into our earlier streams, I've taken the mag tag and I've stuck it up on my fridge, and I use it to pay attention to what the vaccine numbers are, and so it updates for me at 8 o'clock every day. And I think I actually have it in my where do I have it? It's in my personal collection. Yep. So I was like, it's just this URL to the CDC, which my URL went away.
Oh, because you probably had it locally and not logged in on your PC.
Oh gosh, maybe I can
it's not synced. Yeah.
So here's the thing. And so I have it's just an AJAX request. Like it's barely, like, I don't understand the CDC's logic around data hygiene, but like this is a great excuse, because like they were just returning a JSON blob, and the mag tag is great, but it is not necessarily fast. And so I wanted to just have an easy way to start parsing through this data. And so like I hit this every day, and let me see if I can pull up a quick photo of what I've been working on. Let me pull this off screen, because y'all don't need to see my entire Google Photos, just the one photo. Here it is. I have a thing open, but yeah, I've been messing around with that recently, and Postman made that a lot faster, which was really nice. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that's one thing I actually haven't mentioned, but Postman for automation is also a huge reason for which you may want to use Postman.
Yeah. Oof. Let me hide the info tab, because you don't need to know where I live either. But yeah, so I built this little thing using the mag tag, which was
cool.
Which was really nice. And so it updates at 8 o'clock every day, because that's when the CDC updates their data, and then it has like a step off function in case they don't actually update it. Like it backs off for an hour and then checks again, kind of thing. But yeah,
actually a quick question on that, and related to the stream again. How does it work in the US? Do you get like is it by age you give it to all like 80 plus and then 75 plus and then
Yeah, so they have a bunch of, actually I'm really curious to dig into these collections here, and maybe we can do this first because we're going to make a collection later today, but let me so the COVID tracking project was really good. So the COVID tracking project was a this was pre January 20th, back when the CDC was being run by our previous administration. And the COVID tracking project was a user like community driven thing where they would collate all the data coming out of all the states, and they would give you like an API that you could hit for things like how many cases we've had, how's the vaccine doing, because the CDC wasn't doing a collated version. So you'd have to go to every 50 states, you'd have to normalize all the data. And they're really great. They did a really great job. But since we've had a transition in who's running the United States CDC, and the resources they're getting, they've actually started doing it themselves. And so the CDC has a bunch of this data as well, and you can right click and view the source code. Some of it has a real API, some of it does not, and yeah, you can just right click and view the source code and see where they're getting the requests from. And so I'm not sure how they're doing the breakdown. The API that I'm using is just how many doses have you got normalized to 100 every 100,000 people, and then where is it breaking down for like dose 1, dose 2, and then you can get the difference of people over the 18, under 18, which in the US it's only people over the age of 18 because they haven't tested it on anyone younger than that yet. And yeah, it's just a lot of numbers, and it's great. That's kind of exactly what I wanted. So but I'm sure they have. I actually don't know if I'm sure about this, but I'm sure there's more data out there if people are interested in this kind of stuff. And so yeah,
so when we started that project, now it's only a selection of APIs because we didn't have time to maintain it. But when we started, it was anyone could any APIs they had, even though it was based on like the same data source, they had different ways to represent it.
Yeah,
and we had
that's really cool.
Dozens on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely APIs for.
Yeah, I wonder if this one is still up, because I really wish this was still going, because the data hygiene was really good on this. But yeah,
the novel COVID was made by a student in Europe somewhere.
Nifty.
As a side project, and like from one day to the other, he started getting like millions of requests, and he kind of talked about like how he kind of had to adapt. And
I was going to say he's on a great URL there.
Yeah, you can tell it's a student.
Hey, more power to them. Hopefully they're learning a lot from
I mean that
running those many requests. Like
I was chatting with him, and it was an amazing project for sure.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's pretty exciting to be a kid and to be serving, what is it, 4.5 million requests or 45 billion requests. Damn, that is exciting. That kid has got to put it on their resume. So that's great for that. Yeah. All right. So
cool.
So yeah, what were we going to do today? I got tangented on COVID data.
Yeah, so today, open Postman, if you want to start there.
Yeah, there we go. Let me close my...
Oh, yeah, you have it already. So you're well zoomed in, which is nice. You might want to zoom like just once out, because if you zoom too far, that should be fine. Right. We may have some UI elements like kind of moving around. So that's Postman. Welcome to Postman.
Welcome back for me.
Yeah, welcome back to Postman. I don't know how basic you want me to go in like what I talked to you about.
Yeah. So I know Postman pretty well in terms of, let me actually take a quick look at what I have in my Contentful. Nope. This is the problem of me being like a desktop client user that never authenticates. I don't have anything saved.
Well, I think you logged into your desktop, so you just have to save the like whatever request you have there, and it will sync with the web.
Maybe the easiest way would be, so one of the things that's new to Postman that I wasn't aware of, or at least when I was looking at it at least when I was reading your documentation a year or two ago, was that you didn't have support for GraphQL the last time I looked at it. And we're all about GraphQL at Contentful right now. We've been doing a lot of streams recently, And I'd be curious actually to see how the GraphQL stuff works, and maybe we could step through it and do just like a basic GraphQL query as a HTTP request.
Sure.
And then maybe jump from doing it as a HTTP request to seeing kind of how. Actually, we can skip the HTTP request. I feel like we've covered that on the stream. So maybe just jump straight into like, how do you do GraphQL inside Postman in general? Like, what are the best practices? Like, what can you do when you have queries happening and stuff like that? If that works for you.
Yeah, that works. So I think my first question would be, can you get this schema from Contentful?
Yeah. So we have a we have a graphical instance right here, and then we have our schema. The thing with Contentful though is that the schema gets generated, so it's different for every Contentful space based on your content model. So I have my go-to content model, which is my Power Rangers fan site, which for folks that maybe haven't seen it before, it's just henshin.chai.dev. It's got a bunch of videos of people transforming into superheroes, which is literally, I don't know why you would want to look at anything else. Like, I feel like that's the entire point of the internet, is to look at people transforming into costume superheroes and fighting monsters. You can click into it. There's data, it's characters, and then how that's represented inside Contentful is just, show characters, and then there's a string for the top of the page of all of the pages as well. So you can, let's click into some content. We can click into Jew Ranger, and you can see how that's represented inside Contentful, and you can see that there's sub characters and stuff like that, and some photos and stuff like that. So yeah, this gets generated just for this space, and it'll be different for any other space based on like what your content model is set up like.
Yeah, I think that's fine. In that case, let's go to Postman.
Yep.
And create a collection. So if you click either the plus on the this one, and then you can name it whatever you want to name it. Cool. So now you can open the collection on the left.
Yep.
In the sidebar and add a request.
Great.
What will that first request do? Do you want that just to be a general get?
Yeah. So something new we actually just added to Contentful that I'm really excited about. I believe one of our community members pointed this out to us on the Contentful Slack. But if we pull up the Contentful change log, we did a request, or we added the ability to sort based on sys. So you can now do like greater than or less than. So maybe we could do a quick query using that. So I have a query that's a title and a publish date. So let me add a quick where, and we can do sys, and then we can do published greater than, and let's grab one of these dates. Let's do this one, I guess. So let's say we want to get a collection that is just all of the title of all of the posts that were published after 2018, January 24th, if that works. And let's run that, see how that goes. So yeah, we've got a list of less requests. And how about this is like our first
Yeah. Okay. So let's say name your request.
Yeah.
I guess get data. I don't know how you want to call it.
So let's call it get posts or shows published after 2018 and 24 at 1 p.m.-ish.
Cool. So that's going to be a get, so you can leave that to get. Your request URL is going to be your GraphQL endpoint.
Yeah. So that's just going to be, let's pull up the Contentful GraphQL docs, contentful.com, and we've got our base API as right here.
I guess you have to give the space. I remember reading that.
Yep. So should I do the whole thing?
Yeah.
Cool. So let's do that. And now you said you want it as a GET request. I know from our best practices, we recommend it actually as you can do a GET request, but we also recommend best practices as a POST request, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So just switch it. Cool.
Okay. So you see here you have your space. So what we can do, and let's already use a best practice.
Yeah.
So come back, put it back, and then you see here you have a set as variable. So you can set it as new variable.
I like that it's already pulled up a bunch of Contentful stuff. I'm not sure where this is coming from, but that's really cool that, or is this just my environment variables?
Yeah, that is global variables that you have set somewhere already.
So
you can
do...
the name would be whatever is going to be between the brackets. So you can be,
ID.
Value would be the actual space.
Set it to here.
Yeah, collection. Give it a value if you know it already.
Yep, I can pull that up. It's right here. Oop. For whatever reason this is.
Okay, we can edit that later. It's fine. So now you see it's there. It resolves to what it was. But what you can do, if you go back to click on Engine Contentful Collection on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here, if you head to the Variables tab,
it's
now here, and you can put, cool.
Great. And we'll probably need our access token as well.
Yeah, anything that you know you're going to have, like you can already put them here.
So let me grab that too.
So just quickly, you see there's two tabs, initial value and current value.
Yeah.
Initial value means if you were in a team workspace or in a collection that is shared with anyone, they would see that value.
Yeah.
Current value is only to your personal session. And it's never shared on our cloud or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to share any of your credentials, always use current value, and then that way you're sure. And you can just use a placeholder.
That's awesome.
The initial value.
Yeah, like if you wanted to have just like dev credentials or something that never got. Nice thing with Contentful is that these are just read-only credentials, so it's totally fine for me to share them. They're actually public in the source code for this repo. What the Contentful credentials are.
Do you have like a array limit?
We do, but it's negligible. So for like, I'm not going to hit it on personal projects. So if I do, our provisioning team can come yell at me, but they haven't yelled at me yet. So
okay, so let's go back to the post tab.
Yep.
And now, so how do we put your request? You go to the body tab.
Yeah. So we should probably pass it as a. Where's my docs? Right here. We should probably pass it as an authorization bearer token. So in the body.
Yep.
So
there's so you want to do the authorization first. If it's a bearer token, you can actually go to authorization.
Yeah.
Change this to bearer token.
Oh, great.
And put it here, and it's gonna add it automatically.
Will it be able to know that it's the thing from earlier, or will I just need to actually put the token in?
So you have to put bearer, and then you can use the variable. So double curly braces and the name of your.
Amazing.
So that should be set.
Yeah.
Again, like if you were to have, I don't know, maybe we'll add more requests later on. You could set up that authentication at the collection level.
Yeah.
And then have all requests inherit from it. Yeah. Which means you only define it once, and if it changes, you just change it at like one place and just applies to all requests.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So now let's go to body.
Yeah. Should we quickly set
more.
the comment type?
Yep.
Just to, I don't know if there's an easy way to.
It should autocomplete.
Type. Amazing. Perfect. Cool. And then body.
So here you have a little GraphQL.
I see this radio box. I am excited about this radio box.
Okay, so I mean, it should look like something that you already know. You put your query in the left, and so we'll get to the schema after. I see already.
I'm a clicker. I just like clicking on things.
That's good. I mean, it's actually a good sign that you saw it, because I feel like it's a bit hidden there. So I mean, this should already work, right? Like, we're not using any variables. We're just, so we can try that already.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Sending a request. Oh no, we got an error.
4.1 unauthorized. Okay, access token missing. So let's have a look at the. Oh, maybe it added it to the header rather than the body then.
Yeah, I see there's one hidden. Yep, it's hidden. Oh, and it's the word bearer is there twice. Let me get rid of the extra bearer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I had a feeling that might happen. Well, how big is that space? Is that one space or two spaces? One. We're okay there. Yeah, you're right. It did add as a header. A header.
Okay, and you need it as a...
Actually, it should be fine as a header.
Should be a header.
Yeah.
Okay. Authorization, bearer token. Let's have a look again. Authorization.
Did I spell bearer?
Did you save before sending?
I did not. Let me save. And then send it again.
It is there though.
It is here.
Authorization.
Let me go ahead and just grab. Make sure I actually pasted the key properly. That might be the problem. Let's double check that it's not me first, because it's probably me.
No, it looks pretty.
No, it looks fine.
Okay. I mean, we can walk through debugging that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so first thing first, let's just try to hard code it into the header and see what happens.
That makes sense.
So you can,
just turn this one off. Oh, I can't turn it off.
Yeah, you have to remove the authorization. It will override anyway, to be honest, like if you just put both. But
so we got it there.
Okay, so it works like this. Now, why is it not working with the authorization? Let's have a look at the authorization tab again.
Yep.
Go back to bearer. And then, if you can hover on this and make sure that, that's the right thing. It's in the collection. Okay, so can you go back to header, disable the hard-coded one, send, and now go to the console at the bottom left, all the way to the bottom left, and so we can see exactly what's being sent. So if you click on this one and expand, you see what's went.
There's two spaces there.
There's two spaces, so it means probably in the, here, is it?
Where's that extra space coming from? Okay, so it's not in the collection.
Okay, is it in the
authorization? Let me just
here. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's.
I think that went through.
Oh, yeah, that went through.
Body. Yeah, that must have been me mistyping, and I typed an extra space. So we did it.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Cool. Okay, cool.
Get rid of this one then, because we don't need it.
And that's it with GraphQL with Postman. Thanks for attending.
Cool. We can go home. It's all done.
No, there's a
okay. So this is cool. But right now I feel like I still kind of want to use, like, I would still use graphical right now. And the thing specifically that is like missing is, we kind of talked about it, was that schema, the like autocomplete. I feel like the thing that helps make GraphQL so useful for me is the like self-documentation. And so I'd love to actually, I don't know if there's a way that we can pull the schema, or kind of what your thoughts are around that one.
Yep. Let's go with that, and then we can look into like how to use like the GraphQL variables, etc. So you said you have the schema available, so if you can grab it.
Yes, I don't think it's like a link that we can hit.
No, you can put it in your clipboard.
Yeah. Oh, just like copy paste it.
Yeah.
Just like grab all of this and copy paste it.
So now if you go back to Postman and you go in the API section at the very left of your
up.
Right below collection.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah. So you can create a new one, same.
Yeah.
Give it a name, so it can be content like schema or engine schema. And make sure that the schema type is GraphQL. There's a lot of people joining.
Yeah, hey everyone.
Cool. Give it a version, otherwise it's probably going to complain.
1.0.
Yep, and then create API. So we could import if you had a file, but we can just paste as well.
Yeah, I don't actually know if there's a way to like dynamic schema generation. Is there a way to actually just get the schema generation as a JSON object or something, or?
Not right. I mean, not from Postman. That's one of the things that we're missing for now, is the like kind of keeping it updated from a URL.
Yeah.
As of now, you would still need to either you need to update it, or you can connect. So you'll see when you close that.
Yeah.
and go to the define tab. That's where you'll paste your schema.
Mhm.
There's a connect repository. So you could link that to your GitHub somewhere.
Yeah.
And then whenever you update the schema on GitHub, it's going to update here as well.
Postman.
Yeah. So replace that with your own schema.
Is that going to work properly?
Wait, that's not SD. Is it SDL?
I don't think. I mean, I just copy pasted it off the side of the.
Yeah, actually, I assumed it would be that, but it is not that.
Yeah, maybe if someone in the chat, if anyone in the chat, really, I need Steven Schneider for this one. He's the Contentful GraphQL master or expert since he made it. But yeah, I don't have a good sense of like how to get this out. So maybe if someone in the Contentful chat has any ideas and can point me in the right direction. But yeah, I don't think
because this is just the field. That's not the actual.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
And it won't go deep into it. So like things like asset filters, or like I'm using a filter, one of the new filters we just added a few days ago up here. Like that's not going to get pulled along if I'm understanding it. Like it's a sys filter, and we have all these new filters, and so yeah, I don't think that's getting pulled either. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, we would need it under the what is it? STS schema description language or something like that.
Yeah, and there's a JSON version, there's YAML version, which
YAML is not available for GraphQL.
Good, because I don't want to use YAML.
Okay, we can. I don't know if you can Google it. If there's a way to like find it on your developer portal, if it exists, I don't even know if it exists.
Yeah, I don't think it. So let me read this doc. So we've got schema generation, and this is explaining all this stuff. Is there a way to export the schema generation? Like if I get it as a JSON file or
just all this like schema type, etc. It's kind of what we're looking for.
Is generated at request time, which is great. I just would like to get it. Let me actually I'm just going to post on Slack. I'm just going to go bother the guy who would know. Are you busy?
Let's see. I mean, that's a good proof that we are kind of lacking that as well, like the ability, like GraphQL, to just put the details from the API itself rather than having to put it ourselves.
All right. I've sent a Slack message to the expert internally, and so he is in Germany, so he might be done for the day. So I might get a response tomorrow, but maybe if he sees it, we'll get a response there. But I am not seeing a way to export it. I see that it gets generated, but I'm not seeing.
Just wondering if maybe through the API we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about is how do we, like, if there was a way to export the schema.
Yeah.
Let me just see what Control F has for us. Schema. Exploring the schema with graphical. Okay. That's great, but schema generation, schema. What was that last one? Nope. All right. Maybe there's a way to schema. Oh, there's an underscore schema, which is going to error out. And let's take a look at the docs and see what we get here. Oops, sorry. Schema. Okay. That's what I want. Okay. So maybe we could get types. Sorry, type. It's just going to be. Ooh, I don't really know what I'm doing here. This is new uncharted territory for me. Input field. Okay, let's see what this does. Okay, I don't think this is what I want. Query type, mutation type, directives. That sounds important.
A list of directives put by server.
Dash directive. Oh, looks like it gets rid of, and then command space to see what we get. Name. Let's try name. That sounds good. Maybe we can try query. And then name.
That's I mean, it looks more like what we want, but it looks incomplete as well.
Yeah, oh, here we go. Description. These are all null, which is a bummer. Maybe because I haven't set the description. Let me put a name in there. Okay, so this is starting to look a little better.
Yeah.
This is kind of more what I'm looking for is. So let me prettify this and get rid of the description. Prettify. Whatever. So yeah, this is the list of. Now we're starting to match up with what we've got in our schema. Oh, let me get rid of this. Reopen it. Kill the search. Yeah. So I can see here that these match. 1-to-1. So we're getting it as a JSON object here. ID preview field. What other items do we get in here? Description, args, type is deprecated. So let's see what's going on in args, and let's go. See what's going on in the sub thing. Name, type. I'm learning all sorts of new things today. This is exciting for me.
Yeah, I'm going through your docs as we speak, just trying to see if there's a.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So I can see that we've got the arguments here. We've got our ID argument, our preview argument, and our locale. And then I guess we would want type on this as well. Type. And this is probably going to be name. Let's see what this gets us. Asset. Yeah, this is the kind of thing we could copy paste into it. I guess we would just pull it, like all of this information as like a JSON object and pass that in. And that would give us kind of like a basic schema rather than the full thing. But it's starting to like match the description we've got. I don't know how much time we want to spend on this, but maybe we could just hang out here for now at least, or is this enough? Or I'm not sure if you know what the,
I don't know if we can actually do
input
it.
is.
Yeah, I don't know if it works with JSON. I think it only works. We can try, like, try to get this and paste it in the schema.
Oh, we're just using Postman. Our video call. Ask him if he wants to join. Okay, so what Steven Schneider says is we want an introspection query. Multiple packages have that. And he links us to the GraphQL documentation. Send that query to our API, and you'll get JSON to JSON that can be stringified to a GraphQL schema SDL with a utility function that'll build it. Oh, Steven says he's fine jumping on the stream with us. So let me go ahead and actually just send him a quick link, and maybe he can chat with us really quickly.
We're getting him after at the end of this day. Feel bad.
Oh gosh. Was the perk of learning live is that I can just follow the people who built the things and just ask them in person. So here we go, and I will pull him on Steam. Steven, how are you doing?
Hello, doing well. How about you?
Doing good. I really appreciate you joining our live stream on such last minute. We've been struggling a little bit, and so I'm hoping you can save us a bit of time of poking around in the documentation. So thank you.
Sure. Let's have a look. Like, I haven't really worked with Postman and GraphQL, to be honest, but it should all work on the same things.
Yeah.
So I hope we can get that working.
Yeah. So what we're doing so far is we're messing around with, and I guess this is a good context for folks that have just joined as well. We're using the Postman tool. We've authenticated. We have a query here. and we are trying to hook up the schema so we can get that same kind of level of auto completion that we get in the Contentful graphical environment. And the schema itself is it's just asking for the graphical SDL. And so neither Arlemi or I have really any idea of what we're doing at this point. And so I guess that's where we're at. So if you have any recommendations.
So you definitely don't want to write that by yourself, I can tell.
Not at all.
And you would probably don't generate it in the same way that our code does. So you really want to import that. So maybe as a context, the schema can be fetched, and that's what GraphQL actually does. In this like with an introspection query. What it does is it just selects like this. It selects just like all the information in a structured format, and then from that it can actually generate the schema as it's like displayed on the right side in your screen as the actual like SDL or like even navigatable links. And that introspection query is even provided by the GraphQL.js package, so that's like in a more uniform way, even on like what data is available. So what you could do is you just drop that query in here in GraphQL and just copy paste it out, or you just write like a very short script that does the call and then calls the stringification, like this build client schema afterwards. So you can import that basically from the package already.
So let's stay in graphical. So we don't actually have any code running yet. We're just purely in graphical and Postman. We haven't pulled up a terminal. We haven't done anything. So all I need to do is this introspection query and then string is what I'm understanding.
No, the introspection query is like a very long string, so you would probably need to look that up. I can check whether I can find it.
Yeah, and I'm guessing probably how I would do this is maybe have it as like a git commit or something, or if I run a migration, just have it regenerate the schema. Postman has a nice thing where you can actually grab the schema from GitHub, and so probably what I would do is whenever I run a migration, just regenerate the schema and then put it on GitHub and have Postman grab it that way. It doesn't look like I can just give it a link to a URL or anything like that.
Not yet.
If you could just give it like the URL and header to authenticate, it could actually do that thing by itself. Maybe if there's some plugin system in Postman, you could build that, or you have to wait. Okay, so I will send you the link via Slack because that's just easier for me right now. So in this file, there is this very long thing. But they build it dynamically. Okay, but you have GraphQL open, right?
Yep,
then you can just look on the network tab, actually.
The network tab.
Yeah. That's because it catches the schema in the beginning, so it can actually build it.
That is a good cheat code. Okay, let me reload the page. And probably right here.
Yes, that's sounds about right.
I don't know.
In there, the JSON you get returned is already what you actually want to use.
Yeah. So cookies request. I see it right here. This introspection query, and then there's a bunch of handles.
So I guess if you get a response, then you get the JSON that you want to use.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if I can bump up. Oh, there we go. I can bump up the font of my console. Yeah, it looks like it's fit.
Yeah, I don't want to write that.
Well, let's see what happened. Syntax error. HTTPS. That makes sense, because that is not useful. Copy, paste, play. Query, probably don't need that. There we go. So this is what we're probably looking for here, is the full thing.
Exactly. That should be the same response as you also have in the network tab. And now it's just a question of how we get that into an SDL without actually opening up any code. Maybe there is an online tool. Usually the first thing I look at is transform.tools, but it only has it the other way around. It only gives you GraphQL to the introspection JSON, but I haven't seen the JSON.
Yeah,
you're building the documentation explorer. I guess this is just graphical. It's not necessarily us. We're plugging into the existing graphical code base. Is there how are they're just taking this and they're generating the SDL themselves internally, I'm guessing?
I'm not sure whether they actually need the SDL or whether they just generate all of their nice tooling on the JSON already, because it is like already parsed. Usually what you would do is you take the SDL and you would transform that to an AST so that you can actually do more useful things with it. So I'm not sure what GraphQL is doing here, but as Postman wants us to give it the SDL, we should somehow.
You can try putting the JSON in Postman. I've actually never tried. My assumption is that it doesn't work, but
yeah, let's
go ahead and try to paste that there. We see what happens.
Okay, so we can set this as, there was a way to set it as
JSON.
JSON. Here we go. And then
save that.
See what this gets. Save.
Cool. So now if you go back to the query that we have, and you update the schema. So do the query,
fresh.
Okay. Does find but
incorrect schema, autocorrect will not work.
Yeah, so it does want STL.
I mean, maybe I'm curious if it doesn't need the whole thing. Like maybe if we drop this or start diving in a little deeper. So let me drop.
If at all, then it should be everything after data, because that's the part that is in the actual GraphQL response. The underscore schema is already what you are querying for within the GraphQL query.
Yeah.
Like if you look at this, like in line 3 on the GraphQL on the left-hand side, there's like this underscore schema, and that's
I see
the first thing we're querying. So everything after data, then it would be.
So it looks like it's just, oh, cool. This is great. Let me see if I can just copy paste this. See if this works. Let me pull up the top. Just double check that. Okay, let me save this and see what we get now. Refresh. Mention. And we're still getting an error, which is a bummer. Incorrect. Yeah.
Oh.
Incorrect schema, auto collection. So same error as before. I'm also wondering if like maybe, let me try just going one level deeper and see what we get.
Otherwise, I've just sent you another link. It's just a code sandbox that I found by Googling, where you can paste on the left side, paste introspection, and it gives you the.
I was on this one, but I kept getting like error messages on the.
Okay.
Let me pull up the version with data then, and we'll. Oh, sorry. My mouse went a little crazy there. Got excited. Okay, so introspection, and this looks great. This doesn't seem to be unhappy. It didn't throw any errors. So let me try this. So this is our SDL file, you're saying?
Yeah. Yes, that's the SDL, and that looks actually pretty good. And if it like stringifies, it should have no errors here.
Okay.
It looks familiar to me, at least. Yeah.
It's not throwing any errors, which I feel like is progress. So let me refresh that. And it's good. All right, so it's happy now. So let's try it out. Let me bump this down just a little bit so I can read it. Sorry for the fonts, everyone. It's just the UI kind of starts breaking a little bit if it's too big. Let me actually just shrink this.
Yeah, you can go all the way to the left, and
there we go. Get rid of that. So okay, so now we can just start writing queries, and it should give us there we go. We've got our asset. It picks up our URL. That's really great. Maybe we can change our published to greater than exists. The newest thing that I hear someone added.
Looks so much better.
That is really tricky.
Yeah.
Is there a prettify for Postman by any chance where it'll clean this up for me?
Not in that window.
Not in that window. Okay, that's okay. It's no big deal. Yeah, and we get a different set of, or we get all our assets, we get all our information. That's really cool. That was a little tricky, but that is really cool.
Yeah. So would you be able, as you heard, Stefan, is there a way from the Contentful API to get that SDL, or do we have to go like through?
I don't think so. I'm not aware of any like spec compliant way that would give it to us, because there is like this introspection query that you can send and that everyone sends.
Okay.
And it's like literally like 2 lines of code in those terms.
Yeah.
If you're really having it, like if you're just importing any kind of GraphQL library you're working with. So I don't think you can currently get that.
Yeah, it's a weird one, because I feel like this is a strange use case in that like we're plugging it into a third-party graphical thing that we're not I mean, I guess Arlemi might have source code access, so you might be able to do this, but the rest of us don't. And it's like I feel like if you can, it sounds like part of the GraphQL spec is
I think like GraphQL CodeGen or so probably has that. Like there's a lot of tooling that actually gives you the opportunity to like co-locate the schema with your files during development, and they do exactly that. They just go to the server, fetch the introspection query response, and stringify that to the schema definition language, and then save that to a file. And I think so. The most easiest way would probably be just like some CLI command to invoke, and that one was probably now the most manual way to do it.
I mean, it's probably something that we need to build on our side on the product directly. You give us a GraphQL endpoint, and we're able to
because you can just make that query and be like, hey, this is a we've authenticated the GraphQL server. We know how to make the introspection query because it looks like it's a fairly standardized query that you're making, and then do the conversion on your end. And that way, I imagine maybe other folks' GraphQL schemas aren't necessarily updating as often as our GraphQL schema is, because since ours gets regenerated every time you make a request. Although I'm not, like I said, I really don't have a ton of experience on GraphQL outside of our API. So Stefan, you might have a better sense of this than I do. If like what the best practices that other folks are doing, like generic API XYZ, are they regenerating that often, or is it just when they're making like code changes?
Usually only when you make code changes. So if you look, for example, on the Shopify schema or the GitHub schema, they are both static across all the customers. So you have like multiple customers, but every customer is following the same schema. Every GitHub customer has repositories and comments. Every Shopify customer has like some product.
API.
So there it's like still you have like a very static schema. And for us, it's like you tell us, hey, those are like and we generate you a schema for it. And that's why we have it in this very deterministic way of always using the same schema, and therefore we can just do it whenever we need to, so that you can do it.
And it sounds like it's not a costly operation on our end to do this.
No, we have some memory caches in there, but like usually it's a couple milliseconds to get that. Like depending how big your content model is, of course. But
you do need a token to query this schema, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like as every other query would need also the introspection query.
So like we use the space parameter in wherever we use that space. Oh, I've lost it. I've lost my
right here. That's here.
Right here. Yeah. So every space is going to have a different schema because every space is going to have a different content model.
Yeah. So I was just thinking how like we need to build. So building the GraphQL introspection in the product is fine for like Shopify and GitHub because these are static. But for yours, it means for the introspection, we do need to take into account that you need to be able to log in or like give some sort of token. You send that query so it can actually get the proper one like related to the.
Actually, I'm curious whether, because it's also private APIs to some sort, whether they actually would have that protected as well. At least they shouldn't complain if it's with the header. So just
my understanding is that they would probably protect it because you would need their GraphQL endpoint to run that query against, and you can't just run a query against an unauthenticated endpoint.
All the parameters are in the URL, right? Because you can do it with
Let's take a look at the Shopify. How do you authenticate to the Shopify GraphQL API? That's a great question.
Probably via header as well, I would guess.
Where is? Oh, let's look at this. The Shopify GraphQL sandbox. Oh, this is actually interesting. So maybe theirs is dynamically generated too because you're setting different scopes here.
Oh, that's just like the scope for the access that you can do. So the schema would still be the same, but once you try to hit one of those operations that you're not allowed to do, you would just get like a partial execution error. That's also the thing about GraphQL that not the whole request fails, but just the part.
I hate documentation that is alphabetized. So sorry. Access is that what I need for authentication, or like where is the? I'm kind of curious why it's not saying just what the endpoint is. So this is their graphical instance, which is fine, but I don't want to log into my Shopify because my Shopify is.
I think it's fine. Like maybe that's. I'm not sure what the scope today here is because I just jumped in last minute, but I'm not sure whether that really is the scope for what you want to do.
I'm learning a ton out of this. This is very useful. So.
The thing is, in general, you should just allow setting some additional header values towards it, because then I wouldn't necessarily constrain it just to like authorization, because maybe some people have like something else they want to send. Like we also have like other headers at Contentful you might want to use if you need help from support and we want to trace your requests, for example, or whatever. So there might be like different things you want to send with it. So I would just make it more generic that you can pass it the endpoint and some header configuration. And then with that, you send the introspection query that the GraphQL.js package provides for whatever implementation you're using.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that, I know our product team is working on some stuff around that, so I hope they have all that on mind. But I also know that they're going to be watching this stream as a learning experience afterwards. So
you're gonna send it and be like, "Hey, we ran into errors. You have to watch it now."
Yeah, that's our chief architect watches our stream, and there's plenty of feature requests just come out from like these streams, or like just feature release that come out of it.
Yeah, taking a look at the GitHub docs, it looks like they're similar. It's just a bearer token, and it's just for us. It's that variable in the URL for us is really the only difference there between us and them. But yeah, cool. Well, I don't think I have any more questions for you, Stephen. I have learned a lot, I guess. For Contentful customers that are trying to use Postman in this context, probably like the best way to keep Postman up to date is maybe just have a function that runs whenever the content model changes, like hit a webhook that just generates the SDL for you, or makes a GraphQL query and then does the transform, saves it as that SDL, and then Postman.
You can use the Postman API to update the schema as well. Yeah. So you don't even have to have it stored somewhere. If you know where it is, you can just do it.
Oh, that's really interesting. So Postman
also
API.
As long as your content model doesn't change, I think this query should also just be in cache. That the cache would be purged on like publishers and stuff like that. But in general, I think doing that on like a manual refresh, or when you're like first starting your session, just to refresh it. Because also, if just like tiny bits change that you don't use in your query, that's fine. It just like lacks the autocomplete, but you can like still send that query.
Yeah.
And as long as it's like valid for the schema on the server, it would still be executed. Yeah.
This one is interesting, actually. The fact that you have the API ability to change the schema.
So that's our issue with Postman API, because it's an API tool that has an API. Yeah. Finding the API for the API tool is not the most straightforward.
Sure.
But if you type in api.getpostman.com, then you'll go directly to the documentation.
I think I'm actually on the specific thing right here.
No, so this is to define an API in Postman.
So api.postman.com.
.getPostman. I don't know if
I would leave you alone with the Postman thing. Not that I'm not interested, but just because like the food is ready over the next room, so I'm just heading out and
thanks a lot.
Wishing you still a lot of fun and a happy rest of the day.
Thank you.
Appreciate the guest appearance. That was a lot of fun. So thanks so much.
And shout out to Prisma. Like the last time I did my online appearance, I got this shirt. So in case anyone watches,
we'll have to have you back soon. We'll talk to you later. All right.
Okay, so here, probably like zoom in a bit.
I love that you store your API as an API collection within your own tool. Like that probably just adds to the confusion as well.
So if you look on the right, you have a jump to section of the API reference.
Yeah.
And if you scroll down, there should be an API section, and in there you have an update API. So update an API put. Or update schema. And so you could use that, right? Let's say you have, for example, in your use case, Contentful, you generate at the runtime, like whenever there's an update. Like part of this could be a call to, or you could have a Postman integration. I don't know if you actually have integrations.
Yeah, I don't think we do, but I think the interesting thing would actually be
a webhook.
Yeah, a webhook. Have it trigger for content type save, or actually probably content type publish or unpublish, because in theory this is when content models are changing is on these three events: is publish, unpublish, or delete, and then do like a little netlify function that
you could use a Postman webhook.
Really? How would that work?
Well, so that would be like super meta.
Yeah.
We're going to a different level.
Yeah.
But you would have you would call a Postman webhook that runs a Postman collection.
Yeah.
That calls the Postman API,
which calls our GraphQL API.
that would be cool.
I kind of want to do that. I feel like that might be. Do you think we could make that happen in like an hour?
Yeah.
You want to do it?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's do it. How do we? So I feel this is great. I was really looking to figure out how we make the best use of Contentful on Postman, and I feel like getting that schema is hugely important. So I feel like this is actually a really interesting thing that we could be doing. So I don't know how entertaining it is for our audience, but but let's do it. How do we get started? What do we have to do?
I'm actually looking for, because we run a hackathon like beginning of the year, and one of the person that took part created a collection that makes it easier to create webhooks, like a walkthrough like webhook creation. So let me just try to find this one. I don't actually know if you know him. It's the developer advocate for Typeform, Nicolas Grenier.
It doesn't sound familiar. And Nicola, if you're watching and we've met, I'm sorry. My memory is that of a goldfish. So
let's see. Okay. I think I found it. Just get the link. Yeah, so I'll send it to you in the. I can just put it in the Twitch chat because it's public and anyone can access it.
Cool. That sounds good.
Oh, there we go.
Perfect. Oop, and that's. Nope. I want to copy paste that. Do you mind tossing it in the public chat? I can't copy paste out of the comments.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay, so that's actually going to be a good experience as well, because you get to experience public workspaces and forks and just version control in Postman as well.
Yeah, cool.
So how to use it? Use the webhook setup collection. Okay, so
who is that? I feel like that is a familiar sounding name. Is that Nicola?
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely know Nicola then, because this is a very familiar. I feel like they're in the DevRel Slack fairly often. So
yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so you see that webhook setup collection. What you can do, find the three dots when you hover on the collection name.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the right, and then fork that collection.
Fork it
to your. Call it whatever. To your workspace.
Yeah, Contentful webhook. Cool.
So now you should be redirected to your personal workspace with the collection. And then walking through the different requests, go to the collection tab.
Collection tab.
And then open.
Yep, here we go.
So first, get your API credentials.
Is this going to reveal my Postman credentials live on stream?
It could. This will need. You probably need to put your API key as a.
It'd be cool if it preset it.
Yeah, let me do it on my PC just to make sure that I don't make you go through.
Maybe I can add you to this collection and I can just have it up and you can.
No, because you're in a personal workspace. I won't be able to join you there. Okay, give me just 1 sec. I'm running it here. Yes, of course. Cool. Okay, so I'll send you a link to where you can get your API key. Account settings. So I'm sending you that on the private chat and open it on a. I mean, it won't show by default.
Yep.
You can open it here and then move it to another screen if you want.
Yeah, let me do that.
Okay.
Take this. Sorry, everyone. Here, let me just pull this off the main screen. I'll just turn it off into just the two of us right now. So, streaming schema generation key. Cool. I have it. I've copied it to my clipboard.
Yeah. So now you can go back to Postman, and in the collection variables, you see there's one called Postman API key.
Yep, I see it. I set the current variable.
Yep.
Saved it and then close it. And
yep.
Should be okay to reopen the thing on screen.
Yep.
Cool. Let me add it back in. There we go. Cool.
Cool. So now,
yep.
Yeah, so this one is just going to give you details about your, it's just to give it a try. So you can send this one.
It's just going to give me my account info.
It's going to tell you whether your API works or not. So you can see, yes, it does work. And even if you go in the test results, you see this little tab. So he's added this to see, oh, it works. Right. You got yours. So now you can go to the number two.
Number two.
To retrieve all workspaces.
Hit send.
Yep.
Okay. Just have my one workspace.
So now if you go to the Visualize tab.
Visualize. Ooh. Ah, this is nice. Copy to clipboard.
Yep.
Cool.
So it should be copied, and now you can go find collection.
Yep. You see there's an extra header.
Oh. So that's your API key, but so you need to replace the webhook workspace ID in the URL by what you just copied.
Oh, so like right here, this thing?
Yep.
All right, so we can do webhook workspace. Is that gonna work or?
Oh, so you're in the headers. It should be in the
params. I was hoping it would autocomplete for me, but is there a way I can just? Oh, maybe this is something that I do in the environment area, or?
Oh, you can do it at the collection level.
Yeah, let me go ahead and just jump off screen and do it at the collection level really quickly.
Oh yeah, true. Good catch.
This is exciting. I am so spoiled by. It is not showing up.
It's not the. Yeah, you probably have to copy and paste the name of the variable.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not already pre-populated. We'll give that feedback.
I'm so spoiled by Contentful just like doing a lot of this, or like the Contentful stuff being fine to be read only. Let me pull it back. Header. Weird. Param. Hit send. Something went wrong. Tests. You know what? I'm just going to type it in. That's fine. I wish there was a way set as variable. There we go. Done. Got it. All right. Let's try that. Something went wrong. You know what?
I think there's something went wrong. Doesn't matter. It's just you won't have the nice interface, but you still get the API results, right? Like you can get your response.
Yeah. Let me just set this manually. There we go. I did it manually. It's fine.
Okay.
Let me pull you back. There we go. So I set it manually. This is
okay. So now just pick so we've created which one did we create today actually?
We created Contentful, Henshin Contentful collection.
So look for it in there.
This one?
Yeah. And get the UID.
UID.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah. And now you can go to this one, go in the body. And here, replace the. This one is already pre-populated, is it?
Yeah. Where's this?
Just replace. Yeah. Just replace it.
It's fine.
Okay, cool.
And then do I want to do this one off screen since it's going to be a webhook and we don't necessarily want.
Yep.
So spoiled by all of our Contentful tokens being read-only. We cannot find the workspace you were looking for. Oh no.
Wait, let me check.
Oh, it needs the workspace ID. So give me 1 sec to pull that back.
Where does it need it?
It's asking for it in the headers.
Oh yeah, yep. Good catch.
Yep. So I've got a URL now, which is great. And so yeah, it's like a newman-api.getpostman.com/run/305, and then a bunch of other junk. Does that sound about right? Cool. So I'm going to take this, and I guess I will go ahead and plug it into the Contentful webhook section. It's a post. It's going to make a post request. I'm going to have it trigger on a publish, an unpublish, and a delete event. So basically, anytime the schema changes, it'll trigger, and I'm just going to hit save. Cool. So now that we have this webhook, I'm going to go ahead and actually just hide the response, and then I'll put it back on screen. And we actually have to make it do something, right?
Yeah. So basically, now what happens whenever you update, delete, or like
that webhook will fire.
Yeah. So and that webhook basically just run whatever is in the Henshin Contentful collection. So for now, it doesn't do much, right?
Oh,
it just does.
well, all right, crap. I just showed it. So, all right, so I'm going to have to delete that after the stream.
Yep.
Oh, no, I didn't. I took it off screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we're cool. Let me save it because I forgot to save it. And I need to set a name. Henshin SDL update. Webhook setting. Cool. Give me 1 second, please.
So good.
Just gonna pull it up. Oh, it does show the thing. Cool. All right. So I won't change this tab. So yeah, we've got our activity monitor here. So whenever we call that webhook, it'll show up. I'm not going to go into the webhook settings because that'll reveal what the URL is. And I think we're good. So now it's just a sense of we're firing this webhook. It's how do we tell Postman what to do when that webhook happens, I guess is the next step.
So you can go back to Postman, and so yeah, as I meant, like whenever you call that webhook, whatever is in the Henshin Contentful collection is going to run. So if you have only one request, it's going to run the one request.
Yep.
If you have several, it's going to run them like one after the other. So what do we want it to do? We want it to call the update
SDL.
Update SDL. Yeah.
This thing.
Yeah. And as a parameter, we need. So that's actually the thing that I don't know if we're going to be able to do.
Yeah.
Because we want the SDL to be there, right?
Yeah, and we're also going to have to make a little bit of a transformation to it because we're getting it in the JSON object form, and we need to do that JSON. So we need to be able to write some language somewhere. We need to.
So we can write some language.
Yeah.
We support JavaScript, but you're limited to a certain number of npm packages for security reasons. So you wouldn't be able to add like.
So we've hit a blocker here then.
Yeah, I just realized. Yeah, the Nita didn't go so far.
Oh no. Well, that's okay. I mean, maybe that's another thing for the folks watching to think about. Maybe just adding it as a.
So yeah, you can technically add more. You can add more libraries by putting the whole library in your environment variable and doing an eval of it. But that's like it's very much workaround. So even though I would do it sometimes, I do not want to promote doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like this is leaning me towards that the Netlify function land because whatever you want there and do whatever you want there.
Yeah.
And those things are fairly fast and yeah. Okay.
So, are you like kind of guessing whether you're going to go for it now or?
Yeah, I'm trying to decide. I don't think I can write that in 45 minutes. I am not that fast. And JavaScript is not my primary language, unfortunately. But it might be something I do off screen before we do part 2 on Thursday.
Yeah, that would actually be very cool.
And then maybe make like a little blog post about it because I feel like it's interesting. Something for me to mess around with.
No, that's actually I really like the idea that it's like automatically updated
Yeah.
Rather than like pulling it from a repo.
Yeah.
But I guess like all you have your functions to be doing is grab the GraphQL JSON, which you can, right?
It's making that introspection query here, which is luckily it sounds like this is a fairly common query, and like I imagine we could change what space we're running, and this will just work regardless. Ooh, that is intense. That is really intense, right there. How long that is.
Yeah, and then just call the endpoint to update the schema, which is
and do the webhook thing and all that. So I guess I can turn that webhook off wherever that was. I think I lost it. I think I lost it, but I'll make sure to go in and turn it off.
I mean, you can if you delete the corresponding collection, the Henshin collection, then it won't trigger anything, basically.
Yeah. This is your collection. This is my collection. Here we go. Yeah. So while I still have you, what do you think would be some other interesting things that we could do with this? So right now we have basically functionally we have GraphQL working. We have our schema picking it up. So we've got our autocomplete, even though it did take us a little bit of a roundabout way to get there. What else do you think would be interesting for folks that are looking to dive into Postman, looking to do GraphQL here?
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, exactly where you were going. One thing we didn't touch on was the GraphQL variables.
Yeah.
So, for example, the way you hard-coded the data,
yeah,
we could just have it as a variable.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you so it's a two-step thing. So first you need to define it on the right. So in the GraphQL variable as a JSON variable, so you put curly brackets.
Yeah. So right.
Yeah, and then here the value, all between like double quotes. The published at as well. So you need to put the published at between.
Right. Valid JSON.
That helps. Cool. So you have a variable which is published at, and now we want to use that on the other side.
Yep.
So you will need to declare it in your query so it can be used.
Yeah. So that's $, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
So you can do it at the beginning there, like at line 1, if you write like query and then
query
brackets. Parentheses, sorry. Dollar, the name of your variable, and whatever. Like is it? I guess it's a string.
Yeah. So that's going to be colon string.
Yeah. Actually, is it? Do you have to do? Is there a way like for queries? Do you have to do like string exclamation mark, something like that?
Yeah, I've been spoiled by all my client libraries that just handle this for me. So let me look it up. We just pull up the docs for it really easily. It's brackets. Where did I put you? Right here. Yeah, I've been spoiled by built-in variable handling, and then published at needs to be. It doesn't look like it needs the $.
No, it should be. Oh no, not here. Yeah, here you're not. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, I would need to check as well. I don't want to say anything wrong. I feel like it should.
Syntax error, expected $. Okay, there's your $. Syntax error, published at is never used. Oh, okay, that's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Cool. So we have it set. So then here,
here you just do $, published at.
Great.
Why is it complaining?
Used in position, expecting date time. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Date time. That's fine. Let's send it.
Still complaining for something.
Yeah. Daytime used in position, expecting date time.
Oh, so this one shouldn't be between brackets, probably then.
Oh, like daytime is a real. Yeah, it looks like everything went away.
Let's see.
Errors. Authentication failed. Oh, what?
What did we change?
We didn't change anything. Shoot. Did I add something here that I shouldn't have? Let me just take it off screen really quickly. I don't think I did here.
I don't think you did either. Like, we've not touched that collection since like an hour.
Now I'm just like extra sensitive.
To be fair, you can delete this one for now, like the one you forked.
Yeah.
All the way to
Cool. Yeah. What did we do to the hidden?
It's to here. Yeah.
Is there an extra space again? 1, 2. Yeah. Oh, there's an extra space.
Where? Yeah.
I'm just gonna do this manually.
Yeah, I'll have to ask. I'm wondering if it's because there's like a space in the variable name, but it shouldn't be an issue.
Oh, there isn't a space here. Like
no, in the variable name, like henshin space CDA space token, and maybe there's a bug on our end. And they like.
Wouldn't that happen on the space API thing though? Error. Yeah, there's no space here.
Okay.
There we go. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe a space just got saved inside or something.
Yeah. So now you could see the publish stat. Now that can be replaced by a Postman variable. Yeah. So on the right here, this can you can replace the whole content of the two double quote, like the value to either like you can use a variable that you define.
Yeah.
Or this can be a dynamic variable. So we have that library that's included called Faker.
Yeah.
And then let me check. I think we have one for
daytime
space. Let me see. Yeah, that's the one.
Let's see. Timestamp.
Timestamp. Would that work? Can you provide a timestamp?
Probably ISO timestamp is the thing one.
There you go.
And let me make it so it's less than, because we're going to want it to be less than the timestamp, because I don't think I've published anything. So published at less than or equals to, and then I guess I'll just, I should have named this something better. Date time, date, publish, thingy, and let me make this camel case, date, publish, var. I guess I hate myself for calling it this, but that's what I've called it. Publish var. We send it. Cool. We get stuff back, and then we want to use ISO timestamp.
Yeah.
And here we can just put that in, just as like that, or nope.
No. So double curly braces, just like a normal Postman variable, but you put ISO timestamp, and you don't need a dollar this time. You know,
$5.
Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't.
Invalid payload.
Oh, okay. Let's see. You have got a space between your two.
Do I?
On the GraphQL variable, between the two curly braces at the end.
Right. That would do it.
Also,
this one.
Yeah, here. Okay.
That.
And then this probably need to be between curly braces, the ISO timestamp.
This one?
Yeah.
More curly braces?
Sorry, between quotes. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Var date got an initial value, expected type, date time cannot. So maybe it didn't escape?
It didn't escape. Wait.
Look at the
stamp. Success is not defined. That's a good one. Now go all the way to the bottom.
Yeah. Bottom of the console.
Yeah. And then look at this one. Okay. And you can look at the request body.
Yep.
So that's the response body. But look at the request body right above. Yeah.
Publish date, date time, var, and it just looks like it's
variables. Okay, so it actually doesn't
need the quotes.
Yeah.
All right. We clear this so we can send it again. Let me send this and see what we get in the console this time. Request body. Variable. Looks like we're getting the same thing. Maybe it's
resolve it for some reason. Interesting. So I don't see why we wouldn't be able to use. Let's try to use just like a normal variable. So can you replace the ISO timestamp by engine space ID, for example? So one that is like user defined rather than dynamic.
Yes, it's just like the string quote that we had before, kind of thing.
Yeah, but use like you see the variable you have in your URL.
Yeah.
Yeah, use this one instead of the ISO timestamp.
Like
makes sense. Just copy paste the curly braces engine space ID.
Right.
I just want to make sure that it's like
you just want to check that it's autocorrect or it's doing something.
Yeah.
Save it, send it, and then we'll look at the response body because it's going to fail intentionally.
It should be lower.
Yeah.
In the console.
There we go. I was like, what's going on? Yeah, so that's working. That's resolving.
Okay, so it might be that we can't use dynamic variables there, and that's my bad then.
That's okay.
So today you learned you can't use dynamic variables in the GraphQL.
We're both learning things.
Okay, no, that's I guess that makes sense because the faker library that we use is only we need named query.
This is from 6 minutes ago. I think Steven was complaining about this stuff. So
watching over us. Yeah, so the faker library that we use for dynamic variables is only available in like sandboxes, just like the test, the pre-request scripts, etc. But not here. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. What else could we do? So again, you could define different things here, and you can like have them defined by the user. And if you were to use the same variable in different requests, using variables again makes it like just reusable, which is the use of variables. Do we want to quickly test something?
Sure. What do you want to test?
Do we want to test if there's a result, for example? So you're creating like greater than. So we could test. Were there any articles like that were published before?
Current ISO timestamp. Let me just set a real thing so we get this is the one I want, I think.
We'll see.
Where did it go? Here. This works. Oh no, this is old. Hold on, let me refresh this.
Oh wait, did you?
One reason I don't like websites is that you lose them. You lose them fairly easily. But maybe that's just a me problem.
No, that's tabs in tabs is not ideal.
Cool. And cool, we get some data back. That's great.
So basically what we want to check is if the length of items is longer than, like, what would be the response if there was no thing? Would it be show collection that would be empty or items that would be empty?
Like this, if this was empty?
No, if the
query was empty.
If you were given an timestamp,
yeah,
but that from that timestamp there were no results, what would the API response be?
I mean, I think it would just give you an empty array of items. Like the items array would be null.
So we could test the length of items, right? If you want to see if there's any results. So to do that, let's head to the test tab.
Yeah.
And so you can see on the right, there's like snippets that you can kind of cheat to choose. So if you scroll down, you'll find one.
Status 200 is probably a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one to have as well. You can do a JSON value check, for example. Okay. And now what we can do,
one.
Yeah. So for example, you have you define your JSON data to be whatever the API response is, so pm.response to JSON. And then, as you went already, so JSON data dot show collection dot item dot length.
Is it len or length?
It should be length in JavaScript. And you want that to be so we're using chai.js, and I think it's to be. Let me check.
Sure.
Chai.js to be.
Child or chile?
Chai, like the tea.
Oh,
Chai tea.
thing that baristas give me shit for ordering when I tell them my name. So
let's see.
Oh.
I think it's above.
Above?
Yeah.
Cool. I will just trust you there and not look at it. So it's going to be a dot above or dot above?
To be above.
To
B. 2.b above.
2.b above. Oh, cool. It's auto-completing for me. Even better. 0.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. Item gray is status code is 200. Item array is greater than 0. This is great.
How do we make it so it returns 0? Or I mean, we can just change the. No. I mean, like, how do we make it so that your API call returns? Like,
yeah, that's easy. Give me 1 sec. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip the body to be published at greater. So greater. And if we send it, we get a fail assertion. And then if we look at the body, there are no items.
Cool.
Because I haven't published anything after February, after basically now. So, yeah.
So that's another thing you can do when you do your different tests, and if you want to like make sure that, for example, I mean, obviously your API is a read-only. There's very few chances that someone deletes something through the API, but this is a way to check also, because it's reads like whatever is on your content website, right? Like you can check that there's always like items existing, or you can check how many there is. And this is just an example between all the things you can test. The child library can do a lot of things. So something to explore as well.
Yeah, I am really excited to mess around with this visualizer and maybe start seeing what we can do when we push data out and start rendering it. I feel like that'll be really cool. Spoilers for Thursday's show.
Spoiler for the visualizer. You will need to write some HTML.
Oh, that I can do. That I don't need to worry about. I just have it.
Okay, cool. You can just copy paste. It's fine.
I can steal it from myself as well. I pre-wrote most of that HTML. So if we go to the original GitHub Zappa engine Chai, let's see if I can find it. This thing. So yeah, the repo that I have for the website lives on here, and so I think we can just probably steal some of these templates.
Yeah.
Reuse them. So
yeah, I think actually, what library are you using? Because we are using Mustache templating.
This is Jinja.
Okay,
templates, but that shouldn't be too difficult to redo manually anyway. So,
cool.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to deploy, I see that people know that this is my favorite TV show. So if they want to deploy their own version of this website, content included, they can definitely do that. So,
my image is not updating. Oh, okay. I was looking at the wrong place.
Cool. Yeah. So okay, I think this would be a good place to stop it, because I feel like the logical next step after tests is visualizing this, and I don't want to.
Leave some for me.
Yeah, I want to leave some stuff for
you to sustain as well.
Maybe I can show you the Netlify schema stuff that I put together. I've done it. So
I mean, that would be super interesting as well. I feel like so
spot here, but yeah, that could be a lot of fun to make.
There's like a 1 stream out of 2 where we feel like webhooks would be interesting to do. So if you have like something to show around, that would be
that definitely could do that. Awesome. Well, that's it from me for now, and I do want to just plug those meetups. And before we go, and Arlemi, I want to give you a chance to plug whatever you want to plug if there's anything coming up in the Postman world. And I guess we should also figure out where you're streaming so I can give everyone a link. But from the Contentful world, the 2 things I do want to plug before I go are our community hangouts that are going to be happening tomorrow. There you can get links to them on contentful.com/developers. In Europe, it's going to be taking place at 6 o'clock CET, 12 o'clock my time, so 12 o'clock noon Eastern, 5 o'clock GMT, 9 o'clock San Francisco time.
Wait, are these all times for the same day?
This is the same meetup. So these are the meetup in 4 different time zones. So since this one is for Europe friendly time zones, the two important one are the CET and the GMT. We've got some really great stuff. We're going to be running through the changelog. Ante is going to be talking about contentmodel.io, which is super cool. I'm really excited to hear Ante talk about this. So like you can see, actually, I just added the content model we've been looking at, and it visualizes it, and it's really nifty. We're going to have a few other, Martin and Rich are going to be showing up as well. And then in North America, we'll be doing the North American meetup again at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, and I think it'll be bedtime for folks in Europe. So not going to recommend folks in Europe attend unless they're really excited. And we'll have Lee Robinson from Vercel and Diego Aguilera, who will both be talking about some really cool stuff as well. So do want to plug the community hangouts. Those are tomorrow. And then Thursday, we will be back on the Postman channel. Is that just Twitch Postman or Twitch.tv?
/get Postman.
Twitch.tv/get Postman. Hang out with us on Thursday, and we're going to be doing that at 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. EST. So
it will be so for folks in the UK, it will be at 7 p.m. For folks in CET, it's 8 p.m.
Yep. So we'll be back lots of times to see us on camera this week, which will be a lot of fun. Is there anything else we should plug before we let everyone?
Anyone that has a Postman question, I mentioned me, but there's a lot of other people that can help, and they can go to the community forum, which I will also link in the chat. If I find the right window right here. Community.postman.com. There's plenty of sections to be aware of the events coming up, etc. So yeah, just a good resources overall.
Yeah, and we should probably raid some folks. Maybe we could raid hello Mayuko again. She's a great programmer. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and raid Mayuko again, who's someone Cassie recommended that we raid last week as well. So Angie, let me know if that raid is set up, and then we can go ahead and end the stream once that's done. As soon as Angie lets me know in the private chat, I'll go ahead and do that. But again, as always, thank you so much for joining. Really, really appreciate.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it was my pleasure. This was a lot of fun. I feel like I have learned a lot about the behind the scenes of how GraphQL works, which I was not expecting. So cool. I just hear from Angie that the raid is set. So thank you again, everyone. And we'll see you all tomorrow and Thursday. Bye.